Good morning and welcome to everyone. We welcome our Unitarian Universalist Church of Sarasota and our Lakewood Ranch Unitarian Universalists, and we send a special welcome to our visitors. My name is the Reverend Doug Wadkins, and I will be part of this service this morning. Let's begin with some announcements and a prelude by Don Brin. Thanks so much, Don. We do offer a very special welcome to our visitors. We hope that while you are with us this morning that you'll take a moment to go to our homepage. If you click on a link on that homepage that's entitled Welcome Visitors, it will take you to a lot of information that will help you get to know more about the congregation. Also there, you can sign our virtual guest book. If you do that, we will send you our weekly newsletter, The Contact, that gives you even more information about various events and upcoming services. You are always welcome to join us for one of those special gatherings, either one of our groups, and of course, our Sunday services. You will also get a link to do all of that if you sign up on the guest book. Also on that page, you will notice that there is a donate button. During this time, we really appreciate and need your financial support. We hope that you will take a moment. This happens to be a special Share the Plate Sunday, and I'll say more about what that means soon. I also want to let you know that after the service, we will have coffee hour on Zoom. You can use the same Zoom link that you used for the forum. It is a chance for you to meet other folks and check in about how life is going. It's a wonderful, fun, it's not necessarily an hour, but about 30 to 45, maybe hour-long time to gather. So I hope you will take a moment to do that as well. A couple of things to point out as announcements. We had some young people who are students come by and tell us that they are in town with an organization called Southwestern Advantage. And they do an internship where they basically offer educational resources. They have places to stay, but one of those places fell through, and they're seeking the possibility of other places to stay. If you happen to have a place that would allow some young people to stay, shower, and sleep, if you will either give me a call or give the office a call, we can tell you more about what that is, what that entails. And we would be able to help some young people out, if possible. Finally, this is our Share the Plate Sunday, and this month's selection is in memory of Claudia Hertzclaw. The Sarasota Youth Shelter was one of her favorite charities. Claudia enjoyed the planning that she poured into creating a special day for the youth. This included sharing a meal and an activity. The Sarasota Youth Shelter provides temporary housing for girls and boys ages 10 to 17. At the shelter, teens live in a family-like atmosphere with trained and dedicated staff. The youth attend school, receive after-school tutoring, and participate in recreational activities. Their services are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. With your help, you can continue the tradition Claudia loved so much. Please be generous. You can give to this organization also by utilizing that donate button. There is a designation for Share the Plate. Help us put the smiles on the faces of boys and girls at the Sarasota Youth Shelter. And now in just a moment, we will move into our chalice lighting. I invite you during the interlude to grab your candle or your chalice so you can be ready to join us where you are.
This is the time in our service when we light our chalice, and I invite you to light yours at home along with me. Each individual life story adds a spark to the sacred flame of the larger story of life. We honor all the ways that we add our energy to the great cycle of life. Whatever our age or stage, we help it shine brighter. My flame went out. Sorry about that. We light this chalice in honor of the third principle, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations. And now, please join us for the opening hymn, number, what is it? 360. Here we have gathered.
Now we move into our centering, and this morning it's a little bit different. We are taking part, all of us, in a bridging ceremony. And so we begin with a tale that sets the stage for some of what we wish to do together. Once upon a time, there was a village, an ordinary village, but really also a rather metaphorical village, one that I guess could represent a lot of different places and times. It could even symbolize, a community like a congregation, for example. And the people of this village were ordinary people with joys and sorrows, desires and regrets. But one thing was quite distinct. Whenever they wanted to go out into the world, they needed to cross over a river before they could head on down the road.
The river had a long and complicated name, but the people of the village just tended to refer to it as life. For it just kept flowing with its steady, strong, and swift current. It was lovely. It was intimidating. It was always moving. For many generations, the villagers lived happily, but one spring, the waters rose up higher than normal and the old bridge crumbled into the river. The villagers gathered by the river and looked at each other and immediately adjourned to the village center to talk about what to do. Well, there was quite a buzz and more than a little anxiety amongst the good people. But before they got in too much of a tizzy, a strong, loud voice spoke above the rest.
People, people, people!
It was the voice of the oldest member of the village, and she said,
Most of you are too young to remember this, but this has happened before when I was a little girl. And as a matter of fact, if you have read the history of our village, and how many of you have read the history?
She looked around inquiringly while everyone else stared at their shoes.
Well, if you had, you know that this has happened several times in our history. There are notes about what has been tried, what designs are better than others. It is all in our town archives. We don't have to reinvent the bridge here. Just continue to learn from the past.
And everyone nodded. That seemed like a good idea. And another voice rose out of the group.
I just have to say that our bridge is a lot more than just a physical pathway to get across the river life.
That's right. The bridge is what I crossed when I started off to go to college and said goodbye to the home I had lived in all my life up until that point.
It was the way I was able to carry my son to get help when he was sick.
It was the path to my new job last week. It also allows me to keep connected with my friends and my family.
Many of us were here on this bridge with John to honor his wife after she died, and we scattered some of her ashes in the river.
And for a moment, everyone was quiet.
Then they agreed in order to build the bridge, to maintain it for the future, they needed to keep all of this and more in mind. They needed the wisdom of the past. They needed to remember how important the bridge was to their pathway to the present and the future.
They needed to incorporate the stories, the learnings, to weave it all into the very framework of the bridge. The bridge was essential to their lives. It needed deep care and essential wisdom. They needed to build this bridge with love, and so they began the work. And now let's join together in silence and then sing together Spirit of Life.
set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
The bridging ceremony celebrates the transition of our youth from their high school experiences into young adulthood. It is a time of tremendous change and stress for our youth, and honestly, for the parents too. It's a time when some of them will leave our church community to travel to other cities, into higher education, into careers, and possibly into new families. The bridging ceremony is a rite of passage that welcomes these bright and energetic people into the rewards and responsibilities of adult life. The bridge has two sides. One is childhood and adolescence, where they have become leaders and role models for their younger friends and acquaintances. The other side is a scary and vast frontier of all the unknown, full of boundless opportunities and new challenges. We, the adult members of this church community, also stand on the other side. We stand on the other side with our arms open to welcome them, our minds prepared to mentor and learn from them, and our hearts prepared to share life together with them. Today we have two of our youth taking this rite of passage. Isabella Croce was not able to be with us today, but she is graduating from Riverview High School with her IB diploma. Isa and her mother, Judy Croce, joined our church in 2016 and have been active in our religious education programs. Isa plays the trumpet and enjoyed being part of the Kilty Wind Ensemble and jazz bands at school. She is also a member of the National Honor Society, Science Honor Society, and is looking forward to starting at the University of Florida this fall, majoring in biology and also trying out for the Gator Band. Congratulations to Isabella and Judy. Zach Kovatter is able to join us today, but before he and his mothers join us on stage, I want to let you know that Zach and his family have been part of our religious education program since Zach was 6. It has been a joy to watch Zach and his sister Cassidy grow and change over the past years. And our religious education program would not have been as successful without the volunteerism of Zach's moms, Shar and Dawn, both in the classroom and at our church events. Shar and Dawn, would you like to have a few words about Zach?
Zach, first of all, we know things have been busy lately, and it seems like we are all moving in a myriad of different directions. But Dawn and I want you to know that despite our busyness, we see your accomplishments and recognize them with much pride. We are very proud of your academic, athletic, and extracurricular accomplishments, of course, but we are most proud of your kind nature and your gentle soul. We hope as you move into the next chapter of your life, you will carry in your heart the skills and values you learned through Bashaw Elementary, State College of Florida Collegiate School, YMCA Adventure Guides, Evo Athletics, and especially the Unitarian Universalist Church of Sarasota. These are all organizations that focused on your potential rather than on the obstacles that you've worked so hard to overcome. When you were struggling in the 4th grade and gripped with anxiety and fear, I gave you some words from the Desiderata, hoping they would bring you comfort. Today, as you stand on the edge of adulthood, I would like to give you some different words. These are words that I discovered in the back of Mother Jones magazine when I was still forming my view of myself and my world. And I know you won't agree with all the words in this passage, but the verse even has instructions for that situation. They are an excerpt from the preface of Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass.
This is what you shall do. Love the earth and sun and the animals. Despise riches. Give alms to everyone that asks. Stand up for the stupid and crazy. Devote your income and labor to others. Hate tyrants. Argue not concerning God. Have patience and indulgence toward the people. Take off your hat to nothing known or unknown, or to any man or number of men. Go freely with powerful, uneducated persons, and with the young, and with the mothers of families. Re-examine all you have been told in school, or church, or in any book, and dismiss whatever insults your soul. And your very flesh shall be a great poem, and have the richest fluency, not only in its words, but in the silent lines of its lips and face, and between the lashes of your eyes, and in every motion and joint of your body. Good luck to you, Zach. And remember to call your moms.
Thank you, Shar. Thank you, Dawn. Zach, would you like to come say a few words to our congregation?
I have been a member of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Sarasota for about as long as I can remember. From the many Christmas Eve services to the chaos of organizing the pancake breakfast, I have made countless memories that will certainly give me much to reflect on over the coming years. Throughout my time with the church, I have attended many boring Sunday school sessions. While I may have dreaded these extra school days, I now have a better understanding of the value of being a Unitarian Universalist. One core UU principle that truly resonates with me is the importance of having an open mind. Life is full of countless obstacles and endless adversity, but being willing to open your mind and adapt to new experiences and environments is a key foundation in creating a fulfilling life. To me, part of being a Unitarian Universalist involves being able to understand where people are coming from when they express values that are different or even in opposition to your own, and accepting that their opinions matter because they, as a person, also matter. Having an open mind also allows you to learn from these different ideas so that you can broaden and deepen your understanding of others, something that we all desperately need in this day and age. These values of open-mindedness and acceptance are the most important things I have learned as a UU youth. Lessons that I believe will help me travel further in life than I could have without them. So, to everyone listening today, I would like to thank you for being a part of this community and helping to better my understanding of the world. Thank you.
Zach, it is a part of our child dedication services for a child to receive a rose. That rose's bud is tightly closed and the thorns are removed. The buds are a symbol of life just beginning and unfolding, where we adults have removed the thorns to symbolize how we wish to protect our children from as many hurts as we can. And now you are at the edge of childhood, moving into young adulthood, and it is fitting to use a rose one more time. This time, it's not the tight buds of babyhood anymore, but larger and more open blooms to represent the full and glorious flowering as you move into adulthood. And this time, be warned, the thorns have not been stripped away. Adults can no longer even pretend to hold harms and danger away from other adults any more than they could stop this bloom from opening fully. And while we're not able to protect you in the future, we hope that the faith we have given you and the values that you have will protect you. Values such as not measuring your own life in its own regard, your decision-making skills, and the ability to think for yourself, your right of conscience, and how you need to act on what your conscience demands. and most of all, a religious community. Throughout your life, we hope in whatever way makes sense for you, one based on love and support that helps you test and refine what is possible. So I give you this rose now, and I invite you in just one moment to walk across the bridge into young adulthood, and on the other side, we will have Indira Allen, one of our young adults, who will welcome you into your next chapter of life. Zach, I invite you to walk across the bridge.
Hey, Zach. We welcome you, Zach and Isabella, into young adulthood. It's a pretty cool place with a lot more freedom to make choices like sleeping in or staying up late at night, and no one telling you what to do. That's the best part. But that freedom comes with a lot of responsibility. The power to make your own choices is... Oh my gosh, I messed up. Okay, remember that when you miss your first deadline or forget to write your paper for class or even miss class or don't get to work on time, that it's all on you. But you have a support system of people who are ready to come to your aid whenever you need it. And soon you will be building your own support network of people, and you will become their foundation. And so I would like to offer you this mug from the church and this flaming chalice of light pin, and to remind you of the church's foundation. And I remind you to be open to possibilities, expect to stumble, be fearless, and life is adventure.
Blessings to you, Zach and Isabella. Let's join in number 1020 as an interlude, Woyaya. This morning, we have been able to honor a couple of our young people as they move into a new stage of their lives. And while the bridging ceremony does take that particular transition very seriously, it is a symbol of what we go through throughout our entire life. We bridge as human beings over and over again. From the first moment that we take our breath out of the womb and greet our new day, until we journey into our education, into making friends, into thinking about what we want to do with our lives as we are adults, into our work life, our school life after public or private school and graduate school, technical school, whatever the pathway of life, over and over again, we bridge. We cross into new experiences, and all of them are important both to us as individuals and to the community of the world in which we live. Because the stories that we tell about those changes and how we let those changes transform us make a huge difference in the kind of person we are throughout our lives. These stories contribute to the soul of a human being and to the life essence of a community alike. So it is important for us in a variety of ways to honor those stories again and again as a community. These stories renew our sense of possibility for the future. They renew the resiliency that is woven into our survival instinct that endures, even though sometimes what we face in our own lives is incredibly difficult. Most of all, the stories remind us of the way that our connection with each other in this community, in the world, with those that care for us and know us most deeply, that deeper sense of love is an essential part of the bridge. It holds it together. It makes it stronger. It implies that these stories that we remember are yet another way that we strengthen our sense of personhood, but most of all, our sense of deep connection. These stories create an even stronger bridge between us, and they both mark our journeys, but also they remind us of the unique ways that we each carry our own personhood into every moment of our lives. Both of these are essential to the real meaning of what it means to be a human being on this planet. So, we are each bridging over and over again. Sometimes it feels like an epic bridging, and sometimes it is just the day-to-day changes that we have to face and navigate well. We've already allowed a couple of young people symbolically to step into a new place in their lives, but all of us are somewhere in that process. And so for a moment, as we reflect together on the bridge, I invite you to think about your own bridging, your own places of change. What sorts of things might I be talking about? It could be that you are somewhere in the midst of a major change in your health status, or that you are considering moving to a new place. It could be that someone that you care for has passed away recently, or there has been a new birth that is an important part of your life. It may be that there are changes in your job, or that your important relationships in some way are changing in your life. It could be a wedding or a union. It could be a memorial service or a graduation or a retirement. Whatever it is, for just a moment as we hear some music, I invite you to imagine that you are standing on the precipice of that change, and knowing that on the other side there are all sorts of people that are there to greet you in that new place. The people that know you and love you, the people of this community, the ministers who are also always in their own process of bridging. For just a moment as the music plays, I invite you to think about what is changing in your life, and if it would be meaningful to imagine so, to step across that bridge into the loving arms of community. Let's do that for a moment together. The Reverend Kate Walker wrote, "In between, liminal, that space where we wait, between moments, events, results, action, no action, to stand on the threshold, waiting for something to end and something new to arrive, a pause in the rumble of time. Awareness claims us, alert, a shadow of something different in between invitation and acceptance, in between symptom and diagnosis, in between send and receipt of inquiry and question, in between love given and love received. This is the way that we make our lives together. This is the way that we build community that is meaningful and life-changing. The ways that we hold these changes in the powerful truths they give to us. I invite you to join us in our closing hymn, hymn 1023, Building Bridges.
Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmonies. I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, with all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmonies. I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? Friends, we could make such sweet harmonies. Friends, we could make such sweet harmonies.
As we prepare to end our service, I hope that you will return to your candle, your flame at home, and as I extinguish the chalice here, you'll do the same wherever you are. Though we move to the end of this service, we continue to live the truth of the power of our changes, what they offer to us as gifts, what they give to us as challenges, the way that they build our humanity and help us connect more meaningfully. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of that greater wisdom, not the warmth of community and love, not the power of giving ourselves fully to lives that matter. These will remain until we gather together, whether in person or on live stream. May the rest of this day be for you a wonderful blessing. Thank you for joining us for our service.